Hello and welcome back to Pseudo Gameplay TV for another character analysis. Today we'll be continuing through the characters that can be unlocked via progressing through the in-game Infinity Rifts, and that brings us to the character of Magneto. Now, Magneto is the second of the characters that you can unlock via the Infinity Rifts, one of the easier characters to unlock, and we'll have a look at how that's done so you can receive this character if you've not had a chance to already. Now, Magneto, here showcased with an alternate costume that is unlocked by progressing through the superior difficulty, is one of the older characters in Marvel Comics. He was first introduced in September of 1963, one of the original X-Men villains and antagonists, though the lines are kind of blurred depending on his own personal agenda. Born Max Eisenhard, the list of abilities that Magneto has is short yet powerful. His abilities include magnetism manipulation and the generation of magnetic force fields, flight through magnetic fields, and the helmet that he wears, though it's not a unique power to him, is instrumental as his use as a character, as it does shield him from telepathic attacks, which is particularly useful given that he tends to go head-to-head against the most powerful, or one of the most powerful telepaths in the Marvel Universe, being Professor Xavier. Now, the attacks that Magneto has access to in this game are quite effective and interesting to use in a team dynamic. The first attack that he gains access to, or has access to, is the Fatal Attraction, where he creates a timed gravity bomb. This is an attack that can be held to charge the attack and increase the area of effect of the detonation of said attack upon release. The second attack he gains access, or has access to, is the Deadly Debris, where debris is gathered from the area and hurled towards the enemy in front of the character. And this is an attack that you can press repeatedly to continue to use and attack. The third attack which he has is the Magnetic Pulse, where the area around the character is attacked with a wave of force that pushes enemies backwards. So a knockdown or knockback type attack that is very useful when you're being ganged up on by different characters. And the fourth attack, other than his extreme attack that he has, is the Master of Magnetism, where he gathers two large balls of debris and attacks the enemies in front of him with these balls. Now, Magneto has relatively few synergies, but they are all met with the composition of this team, being Venom, Wolverine, and Storm. Venom and Wolverine in this particular team setup are being showcased with their alternative costume, or alternative costumes that can be obtained, again, by playing through the superior quest. But let's go ahead and showcase how you access Magneto through those Infinity Rifts, and then jump into a 200 wave style rift to showcase Magneto's abilities and gameplay. Now, Magneto can be unlocked by obtaining or clearing to the culmination of the Psi Rift, which is the second rift which one gains access to. And the challenge, as all challenges incur for unlocking these characters, is relatively simple. It involves defeating Claw and two other bosses, which are Kingpin and Doctor Strange. I had a very, very easy time with this. It's classified as a level 38 raid. So if you've played through the main story quest, your team is more than sufficiently strong to take this with an initial clear. Of course, you can go for the extra clear bonuses of finishing in 5 minutes and no team members incapacitated, but it's not necessary for unlocking the character. But that's where you can find Magneto, so let's go ahead and jump into a 200 enemy wave style rift and showcase what his attacks and team synergies look like. So the first thing to showcase with Magneto, as most characters that have a flight capability, is that his double jump does allow him to levitate in the air. Now, the aerial attack that he has when coming down off of a hop or out of flight is a series of magnetic pulses that are sent out quite a ways out in front of the character, so it does not attack directly below him, so keep that in mind as you look to use it. His medium attacks are a 3-hit style attack, and the final hit of those attacks does have some knockdown to it, which is important to keep in mind. His heavy attack is a charged energy ball that is hurled out in front of the character. In terms of his special attacks, we have the Fatal Attraction, which allows an area out in front of the character to be charged and then detonates. So quite a devastating attack there. His second attack, the Deadly Debris, is one that you can charge or continue to pump out, and it sends those masses of debris hurtling out against the enemies. It's quite beneficial. The Magnetic Pulse will knock down any smaller characters or knock them back, and does apply a decent amount of stagger damage to the opponent's stagger bars. And his fourth and final attack is the Master of Magnetism, where those debris are brought up on the sides and then slammed out in front of Magneto, providing substantial stagger bar damage and knockdown as well. His extreme attack is best done in large groups of enemies, where he will pull a multitude of enemies in towards him and then send them all flying backwards. So it's a very, very efficient crowd control type move, as it stays out for a while and will collect a multitude of different enemies in together. Now, the Magnetic Pulse is useful for clearing smaller grunts away from you. The Fatal Attraction, though it does take some time to charge and does leave you susceptible to attacks, it will very, very quickly take out stagger bars as well as smaller characters that seem to get caught in the fray. So Magneto, he's very, very easy to obtain, and he's very, very useful to have on a team dynamic, as he is quite powerful. So do keep that in mind as you go looking about to build your teams, and I hope that this video has been of use to you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll be back on Friday with the analysis of the final character that is unlockable via the Infinity Rifts, the big baddie, Thanos himself. So again, make sure that you're subscribed so you do not miss that video, as it's going to be great. Thanks again for watching. You have a great rest of your day.